With us, we have our senior consultant, Andrea Stoll, from the Sage 100 team, as well as senior business analyst for our manufacturing arm of the Sage 100 team, Gil Ponte. And then with us, we have general manager of our Sage 100 enhancements team, John Ryder. So a lot of powerful presenters today. Really excited to have them. In addition to these visual presenters, we have actually a couple of our Sage 100 experts who will also be monitoring the chat for any questions that come up that could be met with just a quick answer or saved and prioritized for the end. There are a lot of you in the audience. We're really excited to have you. And so we really want to encourage you to use the question feature of GoToWebinar here, as well as, don't be shy. Like if you are, if you didn't hear something properly or just have any needs, definitely use that. We are watching. There's marketing support team here as well. So we want to make this as valuable as possible for you. And that's how we're going to be able to accomplish it. So in addition to that, I just want to go over our agenda here today. We're obviously in the welcome, and then Andrea is going to cover why upgrades matter, and then core and distribution features that are new in version 2025. Then we're going to have Gil review production management new features, and then John will wrap us up with some DSD InstaDocs overview and demo. So really excited to have them. Also want to give some light to that Q&A portion at the end. We are going to collect them throughout for sure. And like I mentioned, the Sage 100 support here will attempt to answer them in live time if possible. So context is there. But at the end, we'll really have some time to do it live with you as well. So please, again, don't be shy. We're here for you live and in person, and that's what makes this the most valuable. In addition to our live resources here, we have the Sage 100 version 2025 highlights, if you will. And so this has been compiled by our team to kind of feature the really big things that we're not able to cover everything in this single hour. So the marketing team did email this out yesterday. And so hopefully you've had a little time to review it and maybe you've come with some questions as a result. But in addition to that, it is available to you in the, I believe it's materials portion of this GoToWebinar. So that, if you didn't get it yesterday or somehow it didn't make it into your inbox, please feel free to open that up and follow along, or just save it for later when you can actually take some time to review it, because there's a lot of good stuff in there too. Okay, lastly, just a little reminder about why DSD is here. We are one of the top Sage 100 partners. We actually have the biggest Sage 100 practice in the channel. And then in addition to that, we have the largest Sage 100 development team. So we are really, really excited you're here because it shows your enthusiasm about the Sage 100 line, just like us. And we're not going away here. I know that Sage 100 is a product that will serve us all in the future. So, and it has at DSD for over 40 years. So just want to reiterate that we're here for you. We're here for your Sage conversations and technology conversations at large. And we're excited to get you guys to the latest version of Sage 100 too. Okay. With that, my intro is over. Thank you, all of our presenters, for leaving your cameras on. And we're going to go ahead and get started with Andrea.
Hi, as Kimberly mentioned, my name is Andrea, and I'm excited to be here with you today. I have been working with Sage products for over 25 years. And during that time, I've had the opportunity to see firsthand how Sage solutions can transform businesses, streamline operations, improve visibility, and support long-term growth. I joined DSD Business Systems in October, and I can genuinely say it's been a fantastic journey so far. DSD has an incredible reputation for innovation, deep product expertise, and a real commitment to customer success, values that align perfectly with my own. I am based in the Pacific Northwest in a small college town called Bellingham in Washington, nestled between Seattle and Vancouver, British Columbia. So beautiful area. I'm lucky to be here. I'd like to start today by talking about the importance of staying current on Sage 100 versions, not just to access the new features, but also to protect your business from risk. Sage continues to release valuable updates, and we'll be showing some of those new features today. One key reason to upgrade your Sage 100 system is the 1099 processing for the 2025 tax year. You'll need to install the IRD, or their interim release download, to generate your 1099s. That this year will require a Sage 100 version of 2023, or higher to install. So upgrading ensures that you're ready and compliant for tax season. Similarly, if you handle payroll and W-2s, payroll version 2.26 will be required, but it only installs on Sage 100 version 2022 or newer. Upgrading not only gives you access to these essential updates, but also helps you avoid last-minute headaches and compliance risks. I also want to call attention to something many businesses overlook, and that's the risk of running older versions of Sage 100 on outdated server hardware or unsupported operating systems. When your infrastructure is no longer receiving security updates, it opens the door to serious risks like malware and ransomware attacks, not to mention the potential for hardware failure. Staying up to date protects your investment in Sage and your business as a whole. To reiterate, staying current with your Sage version isn't just about new features, it's about security, compliance, and overall business continuity. If you're not sure which version of Sage you're currently on, or you're wondering whether you're in a good position heading into 2025, let us know. We're happy to help assess that for you. Now that we've talked about the importance of staying current, let's walk through how DSD approaches Sage 100 upgrades and what makes our process both structured and flexible. At DSD, we typically wait about 3 months after a new version is released, or until product update 1 is available, before we begin upgrading clients. This waiting period gives Sage time to work through any early issues and ensures we're delivering a more stable experience. Of course, this timeline can vary depending on the complexity of your system, especially if you're using DSD enhancements or any other third-party integrations. In those cases, we'll time your upgrade based on when all compatible versions are available. Every upgrade includes 2 important phases: a pilot or test phase and a live phase. During the pilot phase, your team gets hands-on experience. This gives users the opportunity to train, test transactions, and make sure everything is working as it should. This step is crucial because it helps minimize downtime and significantly reduces risk when we move forward with the live upgrade. I want to share a quick story to highlight why thorough testing is so important. A few years ago, I worked with a client who tested everything thoroughly, or so they thought. They, during their testing, had previewed all their forms and reports, but they actually hadn't printed anything. So when go live day arrived, no one was able to print any forms or reports, and we spent the first day scrambling to fix the issue. I could tell you many other stories of issues that occurred from not testing. It's so important. Since then, and really always, I always warn clients to test the exact process they will use in production, including printing forms and reports. I also strongly encourage multiple users to participate in the testing. This simple step can save a lot of time and stress on upgrade day. At DSD, we start each upgrade with an extensive discovery session. Your DSD Sage 100 consultant will work closely with you to gather all the necessary information about your environment, your users, customizations, and any third-party tools. We will also take the lead in coordinating with any third-party vendors to make sure their components are properly aligned with the upgrade schedule. If you're thinking about either moving Sage 100 to Sage Partner Cloud or upgrading to a new on-premise server, this is the perfect time to align that move with your Sage 100 upgrade. Doing it all together is not only more efficient, but it also avoids duplicating work, saving you time and resources. DSD offers a cloud hosting solution for Sage 100 called Sage Partner Cloud. With this option, you continue your same Sage 100 software, but benefit from the enhanced security and reliability of Microsoft Azure. That includes nightly backups with geographic redundancy and a range of other safeguards and advantages designed to keep your data safe and accessible. Whether you're planning a straightforward upgrade or a more complex migration, you're not doing it alone. DSD's structured process and hands-on planning help ensure a smooth transition with minimal disruption and maximum confidence. All right, now we'll get to the Sage 100 new features. First, I'm just going to talk through some of the new features that have been added into the core and distribution modules is really what I'm going to focus on. These ones I'm just going to talk through. I will get to the demo here shortly. But these ones are ones that I just will kind of explain what has come. One of the first things we'll see is there's a new resource button on the desktop, which gives you quick access to Sage materials. For example, Sage University that offers web training for users. If whether you have a new user or you have a company that is wanting to learn more about features, that's a great resource. On the general ledger, one of the changes, and one thing you'll hear me say often today is there's a small change but big impact, and I think this is one of those where on the tool that Sage has that automatically allows you to reverse journal entries, which is a great resource. In the past, the posting date used for that reversal was always the current system date, and Sage has changed it. So now the posting date is going to end up being the original posting date of the journal that you're reversing, unless of course that journal was from a closed period, in which case it's going to use the current date. In Paperless Office, they've added a bank reconciliation positive pay export log. You now on the customer and viewer form for Paperless Office will see which form code was sent to the customer or vendor. And there is the ability now to export any of those viewer tasks to Excel that has been added. In purchase order, we have the option now to require cancellation codes when you're deleting an order or a quote, which also is a feature that's been added into the sales order module. Additionally, in sales order, there is a customer telephone number that will now print on sales order invoices. And we also have seen a change where any extended item descriptions are available to print on any of the sales order forms, but also reports, which is very helpful. These updates are all about making your everyday tasks easier, faster, and more secure. Whether it's enhanced audit trails, more efficient reporting, or other intuitive data visibility, Sage continues to refine the tools that you use most. Here we have a list of, these are the items I am going to show you. So I will go ahead and jump into Sage 100 2025 and show you some of the features that are now available.
Thank you, Andrea.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to show you is an enhancement that, again, kind of is a small change, although in this case, I think it's has a big impact, and it's one that I've been hearing clients ask about for years, and that is the ability to change the length of our invoice numbers. As many of you know, for years and years, the maximum length of an invoice number in accounts receivable or sales order is 7. We now have the ability to increase that up to 20 characters. So as I make a change to the length of the invoice number, I also have the ability to update all the historical invoices. I can do it as I make this change now, which I need users out of the system to do, or I can say, no, I have to do it at a different time, and it's available on a utilities menu. But as I go through and make that change, the system just updates all of the tables, as you can see, that are required to be updated. And now I have the ability at long last to have a longer invoice number as I enter those sales orders and AR invoices. Now jumping over to accounts payable, a change that was made in one of the last releases was in the view of our invoice payment selection. So Sage changed the view here where you had to go in and select which invoice to pay by checkbox. And I think not everyone loved that feature, and Sage listened. So they have given us back the option of going to the historical view, which allows me to hold my control key and select which invoices I want to pay. Back over in AR, I was going to show this. I skipped over this. On the customer maintenance screen, another change that has been added is some additional information on the statistics tab. Again, a small change. We now can see the last invoice amount, the last invoice date, but also very helpful as you're going in and analyzing your customer relationship. It gives you all the information all in one screen. All right, in bank reconciliation, we have added the ability to see a total amount as I clear checks, which anyone who reconciles bank knows this is a very helpful feature. I can see right away my running total of what has been cleared. All right. Both in sales order and purchase order, Sage has added the ability to have audit tracking for sales orders and purchase orders. Again, this is a feature that I have had customers ask about for years. The ability to see what changes are made to my sales order, when they were made, also to my purchase orders. You will also see, as I turn that feature on, there is an audit report. And when I run this audit report, it will show me, oops, let me go into a different company. I have some data. And I can see any of the changes made within a transaction. You'll notice on the print window, changes that are made to lines can be reflected lot and serial. If you're distributing lot and serial in sales order, any header changes, you can make selections to see what changes are being made. And the same feature is also, as I mentioned, available in purchase order. It's a really helpful way of managing what's happening with orders. And again, that's one I get asked about often. The next new feature I want to show you is an inventory. And again, it's kind of a small feature change, but it also adds a lot of value for I have a lot of clients that are looking to track UPC information in Sage. And we've managed that in the past with custom fields. But what Sage has done is added not only a field to enter a UPC or EAN number, but also to specify what type. So what that does is when I select a type and try and enter a UPC number, Sage is going to validate that and will tell me that the length of this value that you gave must either be a 12 character with a check digit or an 11 character without a check digit. So not only am I able to track that information, but it is validated based on the type of UPC that is selected or EAN. And finally, I would like to show you the purchase order quote feature that has been added into Sage 2025. In purchase order, you will now see an order type of quote. And as I'm able to enter a quote to a vendor, you'll notice I also have the ability to add additional vendors. So now I have the ability to send a quote out to multiple vendors all at once. And I just select my different vendors that I would like to see in this quote. Oops, I've chosen an active one. That's okay, that's enough. And as I go into my purchase order quote, I now have the ability to get a quote. You'll notice the unit cost here is 0 based on my setup. When we set up this feature, you can specify how you want the unit cost to come in. I am going to keep it at 0 because I want to send this out to multiple vendors and have them give me the best cost for my item. So once I get my RFQ entered, I can go ahead and print this quote. And if I have paperless office enabled, I'm able to send this out to multiple vendors at once. When I hit print, in this case, I'm going to preview so that you can see it. It's going to send out all 3 of those vendor requests for quotes in one transaction. And once I get a response from my vendors and I decide which vendor I'm going to go with, I actually would go in. I have my vendors here. I'm actually going to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going with United for this one. So I'm going to change my vendor. And I'm going to specify that my quote is ready to generate. And I'm going to select Generate Order. And I will get a notice that allows me to generate the order from the quote. I can include comment lines. I can include any purchase order memos. And when I proceed, it will tell me my next purchase order number. And now I have a purchase order that I can process just like a standard PO entered through the system. As you can see, the updates focus on giving you more visibility, more control, and a better user experience. Each one is designed to streamline your workflows without a steep learning curve. If you'd like help enabling or using any of these features, just let us know. We're happy to walk you through it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea. So yeah, as she mentioned, just want to reiterate that if there's any questions on the functionality you saw here, definitely get involved in the chat. We're ready for those, and yeah, we're excited about this release for sure. So with that, we'll go ahead and transition to Gil for the production management overview. Are you ready for us, Gil? Hi. You're not unmuted, Gil. You actually turned your camera on. But so if you want to turn that off and turn your mic on, we'll give you a minute. There you go.
Thank you for that patient coaching, Kimberly. I appreciate it. So
Happy to help.
my name is Gil Ponte, and back in 1999, after 20 years in manufacturing, planning, management, and purchasing management, I came to 3 realizations. Number one, of all the tooling and all the fancy equipment and all the machinery that manufacturers in North America had, their most important was their ERP system, and was also the most poorly and narrowly used. So realization number 2, I could help with that. And I love North American manufacturing, so I wanted to help with that. And realization number 3, I would have to leave management to focus on it. So that's what I did. And one of my first clients used Sage, and I'm still working on Sage after 25 years. So without further ado, I'll talk about the new features in 2025 in the manufacturing solutions. Thank you, Kimberly. Standard cost per piece. Sage has provided another alternative way to define cost of labor and time involved in a manufacturing something. And they've added a piece-based costing method as well as the hours-based costing method. And that's something that's going to be really attractive, especially to process manufacturers. Quantity completed tracking. There's a lot of manufacturers who create work orders and complete them incrementally, a few at a time. They might have a work order for 100 and be completing 10 at a time, for example. And it's nice to know how many you have completed when you're doing completion transactions in order to avoid over completions or under completions. So this is one of those kind of common sense features that Sage has added. Number 3 here is step-specific attachments. You can attach documents and you can attach images to work orders. And you can attach, these documents can have drawings, these images can be drawings, they can have instructions. And a lot of times those instructions refer to a specific step of the work ticket. So Sage has given us the ability to associate these images and these documents with a specific step or operation of the work order. And last but not least, I talked earlier about manufacturers completing work tickets incrementally. And when they do that, sometimes they have some costs left over in work in process, and they don't find that cost until they close the work ticket, but that could be months later. So Sage is provided the ability to relieve all the work in process and all the cost when you have completed the work ticket, but before you close it. And having given you a brief description of those, I'm going to show you what they look like. If you're lucky, I might hit the wrong button again and you'll be able to see my image again. So
we're waiting to see your desktop, and I'll let you know when we do.
here's my desktop. You should be able to see it now.
Yep, Sage 100.
Thank you again, Kimberly, for your patience with me. And this is 2025 right here. And I'm going to switch to 2024 just a couple times during this conversation. And just so you don't get confused about where I'm at, 2024 is white up here. And 2025 is blue up here. Okay. So we're going to start with the addition of a additional costing option to the activity code, which is part of a work ticket. So here in 2024, we can see our activity code work center combination. And we can see right here that we have a reference to the standard cost per hour. But if we go to 2025 and open the same menu item, we can see we have that same reference to cost per hour, but additional reference to a rate per piece. Again, this will be welcomed by a lot of process manufacturers, and I've even met some manufacturers, specifically in the furniture industry, that compensate their technicians based on the number of pieces produced. So it's a pretty big deal. Secondly, I mentioned being aware of the quantity completed when you're performing incremental completions on a work ticket. So let's take a look at that. We're still in 2025, it's blue. And I'm going to bring up a completion transaction. Here's one now. And we can see down here in the secondary grid, quantity planned is 16. Quantity to complete is 10, because this is a completion. And the user has already specified that they want to complete 10. That's where that's coming from. But they can also see the quantity completed to date, which is, in this case, 0. Here's another example. In this case, the user is completing 5. And the user can see in the secondary grid, if they look for it, that quantity planned is 20. The quantity that they've decided to complete on this transaction is 5. But the quantity completed is 10. So they know not to complete more than another 10, or they'll have an overcompletion on their hands. And these are kind of hard to find down here in the secondary grid, but you can drag them up to the primary grid. So, and that way you can see it right next to where you're entering your quantity to complete. So that's kind of a common sense change, but really, really helpful. I mentioned relieving work in process on the final completion. Well, that's not very interesting to look at, but I will show it to you. It's simply a setting here in production management options on the entry tab. And right here, relieve work in process on last completion. And of course, they have common sense, so the box is checked. Very nice feature. Just not very fascinating to look at. And last but not least, let's talk about work ticket attachments. I'm going to open a work ticket here. And I'm just going to grab this one. And your attachments button is up here where you would expect to see your more button if you're in, for example, item maintenance. And you can see that there's a step call out and a step filter right here and a step column. Those have been added. And if we go to a ticket, it actually has attachments. Hopefully this one does. Yeah, we can see that each attachment has assigned to a specific step. Here you can even filter which step you're looking at. So you can just see attachments for a selected step. This particular work order has a lot of steps. And if you were to view the document for step 46, you can see it clearly as a reference to step 46. Same with this document here, clearly a reference to step 60. And since these are instructions specific to a step, you can see how important it is that they be associated with that specific step. Because when you're on the shop floor and it's noisy and everybody's in a hurry and there's a lot of things going on, it's easy to get distracted. So I hope this was interesting to you, and I hope there's some of you out there who actually are doing some manufacturing, so this would resonate with you. And thank you so much for your interest in this.
Thank you, Gil. Yeah, of course, it's interesting. It's always cool to see new stuff. But so we will move on into John Ryder's section about our DSD enhancement InstaDocs. Are you ready for us, John?
Yes, Kimberly, can you hear me okay?
Yep, you sound great.
Perfect. Thank you, Kimberly, for having me. As mentioned, my name is John Ryder. I'm the General Manager of Sage 100 Enhancements at DSD Business Systems. A little bit about me. I am from San Diego, born and raised. I went to San Diego State University, and right after I graduated with a degree in information systems, I started at DSD. So I started back in 1992. It's now just over 33 years that I've been with DSD developing programming and enhancements, mainly for Sage 100. So I started when it was Mass 90, backed when it was character-based version 1.11, and focused on custom programming and developing add-ons for Sage 100. And 33 years later, we now have over 500 enhancements for Sage 100. And we've done over 10,000 projects, custom projects, tailoring Sage 100 for individual companies. So I've been involved in the development of many of our products or design of them. And so the product I'm going to show you today is one of our products that I designed. It's been a little over 10 years that I designed this product. And it's actually one of our most popular products now. It's one of my favorite products to demo. So I'm going to show you, first discuss some of the features of InstaDocs. So when we came up with a design, we looked at other products that were on the market that were for document management. And we found that those products were, external products that had some link to Sage 100. They were great products, but we wanted to find a product that was really built inside of Sage 100, so you can see documents on the screens. So And we wanted to make it easy to use, and we wanted to make it affordable. So we came up with the concept of InstaDocs, and it allows these documents to be stored, viewed, and accessed from the screens or panels in Sage 100. Again, it's the first and only document management solution that's embedded right into Sage 100 for access. And then you can have storage of these documents in the cloud or on your network, and you can see them as you browse records, and you can open the documents right there. There's 6 core features of InstaDocs. The first is easy access. So as mentioned, being able to view the documents that are out on the network, right? So what we found is most users have on their network, they have directories already created for their customers. So they'll have a subdirectory for each customer that they store those documents. Same thing for vendors, same things for items. If you have job costs, you may store documents by jobs. And if you have production management, you may have documents specific to work tickets. So being able to easily access those documents that are out on the server, you can see them from the screens inside Sage 100. And again, you can open them easily. Another key feature that we added to the product is document tagging. So if you put a document onto the screen via drag and drop, you can then tag that document with a specific keyword or phrase that you can then search on later on. That brings us to the master search. So you can search documents for those specific tags. And then from there, you can remove the tags, or you can change the tags, or you can open those documents. Paperless Office was introduced right around the time that we came out with InstaDocs, and we wanted to integrate it with that module. So with standard paperless Office, you can store documents, right, electronically, but with InstaDocs, you can actually store them by customer and by vendor. And that includes if you're printing a sales order or an invoice, it can automatically or prompt you to save that document into that customer or vendor's directory. And then cloud storage. So right around the same time that we designed this, Microsoft came out with OneDrive. So we wanted to make sure that we could integrate with not just documents that are out on your server, but also documents that could be, in the cloud with either OneDrive or any other cloud storage. And finally, the other key feature is security, where you can elect to set security by role as to whether you can see the documents on the screen, or you can open the documents, delete documents, or share those documents. All right, next up we have the module. So when we first introduced InstaDocs, again, it's been over 10 years, we started with the distribution module. So we came out with accounts payable InstaDocs, AR, inventory, purchase order, and sales order. And so we made it modular so you can pick and choose which ones you need. Since then, we've come out with new modules per request. So for General Ledger, for example, we have InstaDocs for each source journal. And you can put documents onto journal entries or transaction journal entries. Job cost. So if you have the job cost module, then you can have documents for each job. Production management, that was one of our newer ones. We allow you to put those documents on a work ticket. Payroll. So if you have any documents that you want to have for each employee, you can access that in the payroll employee maintenance. We have the RMA module. If you have DSD Service Center, we have InstaDocs for that. And the latest one that we released is lot serial. So that's kind of tied to the inventory InstaDocs, right? And you can have documents that are specific to the lot serial number. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to focus on how the product works. Okay. All right. So, so the version that I'm on is the 2025 version, right? So here we are talking about 2025 and the new features. And so we have InstaDocs ready for this version. It is going to be released next week. We're just wrapping up QA on it. And so, part of my testing is to make sure it works with the expanded AR invoice number that Andrea mentioned earlier. All right, so I'm going to get to the fun part. And again, this is really one of my favorite products to demo because it's very visual, right? So I'll go ahead and go into customer maintenance. And what you see here in accounts receivable, it's similar to what you're going to see in accounts payable and the other module, right? So I'm going to bring up a customer, and with InstaDocs, a new tab has been added to the screen that displays the documents. Okay. So again, this tab that you see here is similar to what you're going to see in vendor maintenance or item maintenance if you have those modules. So they're on the maintenance tabs, but we also have it for data entry. So you can elect to enable InstaDocs for specific data entries or all data entries for that matter. So in the case of AR, we have this tab in AR invoice entry. We have it in cash receipts entry. And in accounts payable, we have it for checks, manual checks, invoices. In PO, we have it for purchase order, receipt of goods, receipt of invoice. And in sales order, we have it sales order entry, shipping entry, and invoice entry. So again, maintenance programs, data entry programs, and also the history inquiries, right? So if you're in AR invoice history inquiry, you can see documents that were attached for that specific invoice. Okay, so this InstaDocs tab, again, has the same look and feel on every screen that has that tab. And it's displaying the documents for this customer. So I can browse between customers, and you can see it changes the display. And basically what it's doing is it's showing you the documents that are in that customer's directory. It shows here the path, right? So here is the, what I'm highlighting is the default directory that's set up in InstaDocs options. And then there's the subdirectory, which is the customer, right? And we have a naming convention that you can use for how the customer subdirectory is created, right? All right, so from the screen, these documents, you can actually double click on this document and it will open up that document, in which case this document is one of my user manuals for another DSD enhancement, okay? And so I can, again, browse through and see these documents. Now, the fun part here is the drag and drop, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a subdirectory, right? This is my repository of files out on my server, and it could be out, out in the cloud as well, right? In this case, these documents are our user manuals for our enhancements. So the fun thing is that the drag and drop. So I can take this file and I can drag and drop it. And what it's doing is it's copying it from that repository directory into that customer's directory out on our server, right? I can drag and drop one document. I can also drag and drop multiple documents. I can right click and copy. And from InstaDocs tab, I can right click and I can paste, right? I can also right click one of these documents and click copy, and I can, paste it somewhere else. So I can drag and drop in between InstaDocs tab and a Microsoft File Explorer, copy and paste back and forth. I can even have two Sage 100 InstaDocs tabs up for two different customers and drag one from one screen to the other screen. So that's one of the best features, is that drag and drop and copy and paste. Another feature that I mentioned is tagging of documents, right? And to do that, you highlight a file, and then on the right side of the InstaDocs tab, we have this magic wand button on top, okay? Now, this is where you tag the file, right? And as mentioned, you can tag it with a specific keyword or a phrase that you can then search on later on. So I'm going to say John was here, just some random tag, right? And then I can put a comment on it, and it will track the user code and the date timestamp of when the tag was added, right? I can also select from a list of predefined tags, or what we call template tags. So in InstaDocs options for accounts receivable, I've defined these template tags, which are tags that I want to use over and over again, right? That can be, a customer PO, right? So if I tag documents that I drag and drop and say this is a customer PO, I can then search on them later on. I can also select multiple documents and tag them, all of them at once, right? So I can say these are all from emails. All right, so tagging of a document happens when you manually tag it. There is auto tagging that happens in data entries, which I'll show you in a moment. All right, next is the search capabilities. So on the right side below that magic wand is a binoculars button, right? And here I can now search for documents for this customer based on the tag, right? So if I want to search again for any documents for that customer that had a tag of customer PO, I can click search, and here you can see it displays for me the two files that have that tag. From here, I can double click on it and open it up, right? So I'll double click there. It opened up that file. And again, these files can be PDF files, Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, JPEG, and any type of picture. So as long as that file is defined in your operating system as a file type, you can store these documents and open them using that application, right? So again, I can double click here. I can also see the tags. So I can view the tags, I can delete a tag, I can add a different tag, and so on. I can also select a button to open it up in the file system, right? And I can remove all tags, or I can copy the document from one place to another. So again, this is searching inside this customers directory. I can search all directories. So let's say I want to look for, all files that have a tag of customer PO. I can do that as well. Okay. All right. So that's what the InstaDocs tab looks like, and some of the features inside of there. I'm going to go ahead and go into invoice data entry and talk a little bit about the data entry and some of the paperless features. So I'm going to go ahead and create an invoice. I'm going to go ahead. Let me just put in this invoice number, 20-character invoice number. I love it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a customer to invoice. Go to lines, go to totals, and now I'm on InstaDocs. All right, so the InstaDocs tab is on the data entry as well, and it's displaying any documents in that customer directory that's tagged with this invoice number. So since it's a new invoice, right, there's nothing there yet. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop a document to that tab. And if I look at this document and I look at the tag, you'll see it auto tagged it with the invoice number. So that's what the auto tagging does. And then when I post this invoice, I'll be able to see it in invoice history inquiry because it has that tag of that invoice number. So next I'm going to print this invoice, and this is where the paperless feature comes in, right? So if I preview or print this invoice, when I'm done printing it, it's going to prompt me, do I want to print this invoice in PDF format and save it into InstaDocs? Now in InstaDocs options, I have it set so that it prompts me this prompt, but I can also set that feature to be automatic, where it does not prompt me, it just automatically saves that document into that customer directory. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, and then when I pull up that invoice, you'll see here that it not only has that document that I dragged and dropped here, it also has this invoice, and it saved the invoice with a name that using a naming convention that I've defined in InstaDocs options, right? And so here I can look at the tag, and you can see not only did it print the document, save it into that customer's directory, but it also auto tagged it. So again, when I'm in customer maintenance, I'll see this invoice, right? Or if I'm looking at this invoice in invoice history inquiry after I posted it, I will see the documents there. Just a quick view of the setup options. I'll take a minute to show you what that looks like. So every InstaDocs module has its own setup options, right? So for customers and vendors and items and so forth, you have the default path, right? So this is the default path for all customer documents. And then the subdirectory under this path for the customer is using the naming convention that you see here. So I've elected to have the naming convention of that subdirectory be that customer number. But I also can do customer name, or I can make it the customer number underscore customer name. So for example, if I'm in customer maintenance and I am pulling up a customer that has not had a subdirectory created for it yet, you'll see here that it shows this document directory is invalid, right? So what happens is when I then drag and drop a document to that tab, what it's done here is it's created that subdirectory for me using that naming convention that I've defined in InstaDocs options. And then once it's created that subdirectory, it then copies that document there. So now it's sitting in that new document directory. Back to InstaDocs options, again, that's the naming convention it used to create it. I can turn on paperless office for that invoice printing, statement printing. I have the naming convention that I want to use when I'm saving that document. Down below, I can enable which data entries have InstaDocs. Here I can have that creation of the PDF and paperless office prompt me or be automatic, right? And then one feature I just want to mention is paperless office form delivery, right? So if you're printing a sales order and you want to have it automatically sent via email to the customer, not only will it send that printed order or invoice, but it can also send any documents that I put into the InstaDocs tab for that sales order or invoice. Finally, we have the tags. Here is where you enter in the template tags that can be used for tagging. All right. So that concludes my demonstration of InstaDocs today. If you have any questions or want more information on InstaDocs or any other DSD enhancement, feel free to reach out to us. Back to you,
Thank
Kimberly.
you. Thank you, John. Actually, I'm going to leave it in your hands for now because we do have, right at this moment, at least 2 questions for you specifically on InstaDocs. So we'll start there for our Q&A.
Sure. Okay.
So one question, Patrice asks, does InstaDocs for production management work for operations management as well?
Unfortunately, no, we do not yet have a InstaDocs for operations management, which is a product sold by Scanco. Scanco and DSD have worked together in having an integration with their handheld so that you can take pictures um, of items and have it automatically save into InstaDocs. So we have worked with Scanco in that regard, but we have not yet created an InstaDocs that's built into operations management. But because you asked that, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to Scanco and get that ball rolling.
Great, love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, me
um,
too.
and yeah, Michelle also asks, would customers be able to see the document as well that it is tagged? I guess, would customers be able to see that document as well that is tagged? So does that make
Well,
sense?
yeah, I mean, if you're in customers, if you're referring to customers that you sell to, um, you'll see if you use again if you use paperless office to send electronic delivery of orders or emails on the sales order or invoice, if you have additional documents, um, you can have it send those documents as well as the printed order or invoice, and that's what they would see.
Okay, great. And I thought I did also see someone raise their hand. Just for time, we'd love for you to write into the chat if you did have a question that also wants to be addressed here. Oh, got it. Donald, thank you. So Donald's question is there an InstaDoc tag on sales order entry?
Absolutely. So sales order entry, all of the data entries, you have the ability to enable this InstaDocs tab. So here on the sales order, for example, right, I can do the same thing. So I'm drag and dropping a document. Actually, I just drag and drop the document that's already in the customer. I'll do this one here. And then it auto tags it with the sales order number, right? So when I select this item here, you can see that this is the sales order number that was attached. And one thing to mention, when I create an invoice from this sales order, the documents on the sales order will flow to the invoice as well. So it'll be more or less double auto tag, one with the order number, one with the invoice number. Okay.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, thank you attendees for asking John. He's obviously a wealth of knowledge, and this product is one of the deepest products I think that touches many areas of Sage 100 for our enhancements line. So it is great, and happy to continue to you know have this conversation. But we're going to get right up to time here, so I just want to retouch on a couple of questions that were answered earlier on in our session and give you the contact information to reach us if you'd like to schedule your upgrade. We will also be reaching out. So anyone that needs to drop early because of a hard stop, this is the best way to reach the Sage 100 team for scheduling and etc. But we will also make sure that your account manager will follow up on your attendance here today to see if you had any questions or are ready to get queued up. So thank you, everyone. And then just for everyone's knowledge as well, if you have another minute or two, there was a question asked earlier on by Heather. She asks, for the new sales order audit feature, will you be able to see changes made in the commission edit maintenance to an invoice? And that might be about your section, Andrea.
Yeah, and I can say I don't believe it does. I would have to verify, but because the commission edit maintenance happens at the invoice level and the audit uh, feature is at the sales order level, I would say probably 99% certainty that it does not. I can double check, but uh, my guess is no.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, Heather, great question. We'll double check and we'll get back to you and answer via email. And then lastly, we had one earlier on from Tom. He asks, in Sage 2025, when you send a PO, it comes from one generic email address. Did Sage fix this issue for 2025 so the email would come from the email address of the Sage user? The issue is the email being from one generic email. If a vendor replies, it does not go to the person that sent the specific PO. Also, has Sage developed a method to track that these PO emails have been opened by the recipient? That's kind of deep as well. So, I think the short answer is there are no changes in version 2025 for this paperless office email functionality, but it is always a good idea to reiterate to Sage that this is still something you want to see. And there is actually a community called Sage City where you and other users can voice your concerns, or in general talk about little workarounds, and Sage does listen to those as well. Any other color commentary from the consultant side? Oh, Sherry mentions a Sage Ideas site. I'm not exactly familiar with that, but we'll go ahead and email you that too, Tom, and follow up for this event. Okay. All right. So thank you to all those of you who stayed engaged and, kept on with us till this point. We love this product. Obviously, it's a really exciting release. Not every release is this packed, and your guide will show you even more highlights. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you're ready to get this system rolling for you. And thank you to all of our presenters. Thank you to our Sage 100 support that answered questions throughout. All of you did amazing, and your enthusiasm definitely translates here. So well done, everyone, and attendees. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.